And we're back at the Teradek booth at NAB Las Vegas 2013. Teradek and Ustream are webcasting live for the entire duration of the show, and we were fortunate enough, and we're grateful to be asked by Teradek to help generate some content. We're happy to do it, and today we're presenting Streaming Media Magazine's first annual Best of NAB Awards. Our editors walked the floor, looked at all that was being offered, all that was being talked about, and we had a meeting to decide which products jumped out as different from the rest, as deserving attention. And so we selected 5 products for our Best of NAB Awards. And our last award today goes to a product called vMix. And it's a product you may not have heard of. I've got Martin Sinclair from vMix here to talk a little bit about it. Martin, your award, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So, vMix is a video mixing software.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
But what jumped out to us about it was the flexibility and the functionality and the price point. Talk a little bit about the range of different versions of vMix and what vMix offers.
Okay. Well, vMix is a live production software, video mixing and switching, streaming to the web, recording to disk. So you can take various camera inputs, video files, images, virtual sets we've included in there as well, just a whole array of different ways of getting video and content into your live production. So we actually have a free version available on our website. The free version is just standard definition, up to 2 cameras. So if someone just wants to do a small live streaming site, they could do that for free. But if you want to get into HD, then we have one for $59. I'm from Australia, so $59 Australian, roughly equivalent to US, and then all the way up to $700 for our vMix HD Pro, which just includes a multi-quarter ISO recording ability. So if someone wants to have the raw camera feeds for editing later, they can do that whilst also streaming their live production.
How many inputs does vMix allow for? Allow for?
Well, okay, so it depends on what hardware you have available and what version of the software. So say the $59 one, and you have a Blackmagic Design quad capture card, you could bring in 3 cameras, 3 HD cameras, and 1 graphic in the $59 version. For more graphics, for more cameras, then you would be looking at the HD version for $349, which has as many cameras and as many inputs as you can, install in your PC.
Okay. What sort of graphics cards does it work with?
Well, yeah, so vMix works mainly on the graphics card, takes advantage of all the latest technology. Fortunately, these days, even the low-end graphics cards are really powerful. So you could do 4 HD cameras on just an ordinary graphics card you could pick up from Best Buy. So doesn't really need a lot of system resources, which we think is one of the unique advantages of vMix. We have in our booth just an ordinary Lenovo ThinkPad laptop we just bought for under $1,000, and we've got multiple HD cameras, and it's all working fine.
Right. Is there a Mac version available, or is it just PC at the moment?
It's just PC, okay. But you can install Windows on a Mac.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right. Do you plan on releasing a native Mac version, or is that not? Don't you think, given your market, that's necessarily?
Well, we think, given you can already install the latest Windows versions on a Mac, I believe Apple have released support for Windows 8. So given how easy that is, we thought we'd just concentrate on adding as many features as possible to the Windows version. And that way we can add more features faster, rather than having to basically program 2 versions of the software side by side, each one slightly different to the other. I think just concentrating on the single version is more effective.
Right. Now here at NAB, obviously there's hundreds of companies, many of whom at least are well known in the US. What are the challenges being an Australian company trying to come in? I mean, for all the talk about the world being flat now, it's still a challenge for an Australian or a non-US company to really break the market here. What have you found about that?
Yeah, so our software has been out there on the web now for a couple of years. And we've been really popular in certain markets, particularly in parts of Europe and South America. And it seems as though the US market is the place to be.
Right.
And really trying to break into that market now with this software. So I went to NAB last year, had a look around, saw what everyone was doing, and thought, hey, we can set up a booth here. So we've got just a little booth down in the South Hall there. So we just brought all the equipment, brought our stands in our carry-on bags, and flew over here. And I guess progressively as the years go on, bigger and better.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. What sort of end users do you have right now? What are the types of applications that you're seeing most frequently?
Well, it's been really amazing to me seeing all the different uses people find for the software. We've initially, I built it mainly for the idea of a live concert or a live company meeting with multiple cameras, or an online web show, podcasts, anything that needs to be live with multiple cameras. But we've just seen all sorts of innovative ways people are using the software. On film studios, I've seen them just use the software because it has built-in chroma key in HD, so they've just used that so they can get an idea when they're in the film studio under the front of the green screen, put in a temporary background so they can just see live what's happening. So I guess with the price point, people have just found all sorts of unique ways of using the software.
Right, and you mentioned you built the software.
Yes.
One of the things that I always like is when it's the engineers who built the stuff who are here on the show floor talking about it. And one of the other things that impressed me was Tim Siglin, our writer, visited your booth yesterday, and he mentioned that he asked you about a feature. I can't remember what it was, but a feature that, and whether or not you had it, and your answer was, no, we don't, but it's a great idea. I'll add it tonight. And so it seems like vMix is a pretty nimble, responsive company, and can make those changes to meet customer demand pretty quickly.
Yeah, we depend entirely on customer feedback for our future releases. For example, last year I went to the Teradek booth, and they were saying, hey, it would be great if we could use the Teradek Cube with vMix. And so the version this year has Teradek Cube support. So we work like that. We're just constantly talking to customers. And yeah, it's pretty flexible, pretty good base in the software to add features. So yeah, we've got great ideas this year as well as what we can add for a future release.
Great. Well, thanks and congratulations again, Martin. That wraps it up for our Best of NAB webcast today. We presented our first annual Best of NAB Awards from Streaming Media Magazine, and to wrap up, they went to Adobe Primetime, Vivio Halo Experience, Matrox Monarch HD, and vMix. The fifth one, our guest was not able to be here today. It went to Canon for their XA25 camera. But if you're interested in hearing more about that, you can check out the archived version of the webcast that our Sean Lamb did yesterday from the Teradek booth, where he spent a good amount of time talking to Canon about that camera. So thanks to all my guests. Thanks again to Teradek and Ustream for hosting this live from NAB webcast. And once again, I'm Eric Schumacher Rasmussen from Streaming Media, signing off.